I'm not going to go through all the thank yous again, but to really echo everybody, that the thank yous that have already been made. By the way, any of your universities who have systems where they are working on computers or maybe repairing computers, Sarah's school still needs more computers and printers. So we're certainly going to look through the Camara project in Ireland to see if we can get you some, but they still need the computers. So any of you that have sources, or indeed PwC, that we can get some computers to your school, we'll certainly do that. I just want to really take this discussion back to U21 and to really my question, which is how now can we take the large amount of work done in the last 4 days, because your steering group met on Tuesday, how can we take the work done and bring it back to U21 and construct useful resources out of it that can be shared in the university? And I think one of the things we recognise in U21 is that always we ask all of you to do this voluntarily and extra to your day jobs, and that all of you will return home to very busy desks next Monday. So how can we make resources in the easiest way possible and resources that are the most effective for you? My work as Provost of U21 is to balance all the network's activities, and I have to make sure I'm aware of what's happening at different levels of the network, and it's why I attend all the steering group meetings, and also to my great pleasure being able to attend this event, but also being aware of what's happening in changes in our individual universities and across higher education more generally. And then really bringing together the thoughts on those, the evidences that we have, and to say, how do we best use your membership subscriptions to create artefacts and resources that we can give back to you as members, therefore giving you value of your membership to U21. We very much try to use evidence-based decisions. What resources are needed? We use a lot more online capacity now. When we send you an email, we watch who opens it, not because we want to judge you, but we want to judge ourselves. And if you're not opening our emails, it's our problem, not yours. We also have to be aware of the changing international higher education landscape and to see these emerging areas of concerns across the areas. We also want to watch the duplication of effort so that different areas of the network are not duplicating projects, and also stopping low impact activities. And this was one of the things I think I spent my first 18 months as Provost, was stopping a lot of activities that had gone on for years, which were being used by very few people. And also communicating. And one of the things I will offer to do after this event is I want to start a special communications group just for people who attend this event. We already talked to the steering group, but widening that so that every few months we communicate with you about changes and updates on your projects, and we will note who's opening those communications. I'm going to finish just this wind up, because I want to also show you what's happening more recently in U21 across different areas, because we want to think of what we create from this event, how it will fit in and harmonise with activities going on in other parts of U21. But I think what I'm taking away from this event as areas that we can possibly work on now when I go back to U21 is certainly this creation of the Fourth Industrial Revolution Teaching and Learning Roadmap. And I think that roadmap is more than just a summary of what we discussed today. It's producing something small and usable for a number of different cohorts. It's for your cohort. It's for, as Paulo Freire called you, the consciencized, the people who understand the impact of teaching and learning and education. It's also for your VC. And Gregor said something to me this morning, where your VC is sitting in an airport and has 4 minutes to wonder, what do we think about the fourth industrial revolution? Will I sign off on this excellent piece of educational technology which somebody has advised me to do so? So how can we create something like a very fast, easily used roadmap that's available not only for us but also for your vice chancellors? And above all, how we create that roadmap for your faculties, particularly for Professor I'm not going to change, and stop asking me to change. Because they're the professors that need to hear that life is changing. And so that we're giving them our informed and collective international opinion from research-intensive universities from across the world. So certainly we'll be working on that as a primary resource from this event. We also, and I'll touch on it very shortly, we'll be working on the Teaching Indicators project, and your steering group have signed off on a final phase on that, so that we have again an easily used resource. It's already been used by some members, but making it more accessible, more adaptable, and Susan Bridges and Johan are going to take that back to Hong Kong and NUS respectively and do some work on that. We also want to create, at the request of the Health Sciences Group, a U21 CPD catalogue. That is, we were talking about this earlier, about recognised CPD, particularly in health sciences, that are being provided across U21, with the idea that it can be accessed on the U21 website, and also that it offers what we would call mates rates, where we will offer a reduction for other U21 members accessing CPD in health sciences in particular being offered within U21 universities. We found in other ways that we've used that those reduction special rates for people within U21, that it's been attractive. So they're the ones I'm coming away with. Oh, and the fourth one, sorry, was the sharing of the online staff development resources that Anya suggested. I think that would be something we could do very fast, and I will be coming back to you and seeing, do you have this? Again, we can put that together at the centre of U21, we can make it look attractive, and we can link onto those. I think that's an extremely good idea. So just to finalise, and we're going to finish this session today with hearing from our event in 12 months' time in Lund, from Bo Anders and from Lena. But before we do that, I just really want to talk to you about some of the other upcoming projects that are happening in U21. First of all, our new student opportunities. And the first project I want to make you aware of is the RISE Awards. And these are a new students' showcase for social entrepreneurship and also non-profit projects. And this is very much a response, was mentioned yesterday, this major interest from students in climate change and sustainability. So we're offering students who are already involved in their own projects around sustainability and the sustainability goals to provide us with videos of those projects. We will make an online showcase for this competition. We will also, this also shows the collective interest in the Sustainable Development Goals from within U21. Every student that puts forward a project online will be offered online coaching through the Do Good Foundation at the University of Maryland, and they will get coaching specifically on how best to present their project. We will also put this out to big industry, to PwC, to other major industry partners, and also to non-profits, so that we can gain support, mentoring and guidance for these students, so that they can move on their projects, so that every student who puts their video online should get extra help in making their project realisable. And also we will have a small number of winning teams that will get $2,000 each to again help them further develop their projects. In the researcher engagement area, these sort of services and projects we have for students, we still offer a graduate collaborative research awards, and we've talked around the need to virtually connect students. This is an absolutely virtual project. It allows PhD students working in related areas to come together in teams of up to 4 universities, where these young, early researchers can start making new international contacts. Not all of our universities, but some of them offer joint PhDs. We have an increasing interest in our early career researcher workshop. That's young academics, beginning career academics who are in the first 5 years of their career. And we have up to 60 researchers who come together annually on that. We have our U21 PwC Innovation Challenge that I'll talk about a little bit more in a moment, and our 3-minute thesis. And John from Edinburgh gave me a terrific... Where's John? John, do you want to just give tell the story of what you discovered about our 3-minute thesis?
So some colleagues in my university are involved with what's called CARA. CARA is the Council for At-Risk Academics. And one of the programs that CARA runs is in support of Syrian academics who have been displaced to Turkey. And it's put together a program of training and support for those academics around English for academic purposes, around research skills, but also provides opportunities to bid for small amounts of funding and kind of stay in touch with that academic community while they are displaced in Turkey. And anyway, what's happened is that for the English for academic purposes courses, one of the things that they really needed, the English for academic purposes tutors, was access to material that would be covering some of the specialist language in different disciplines that these academics would need to be using in their particular discipline. And so what they've ended up doing is using quite a lot of the 3-minute thesis videos that are available on the U21 website as a kind of key learning resource for those programs. So it's a really lovely, unexpected benefit of this U21 initiative.
That's great. Thank you, John.
So can I take this opportunity? Thank you again to University of Queensland for coming up with it in the first place.
Exactly.
That's terrific.
And we always keep your trademark on it. Very, very clever idea to have trademarked the 3-minute thesis. And go online. The finalists are online at the moment and they're absolutely smashing this year. The new staff resources, one of the important ones that we're working on is this teaching indicators framework. It's already been found to be useful in some universities, but we really want to get it into a much more adaptable, and I'm really grateful to Susan and Johan for working on this, and this will be really a resource, and it's one that is attractive to your VCs as well. Just to remind you that student mobility and internationalisation is always at the heart of U21. But one of the things now is we do a fairly robust census of how students from different U21 universities exchange with each other. And just to show you the kind of differences we're looking, we measure both inbound and outbound. When we started doing this, we found there were quite a number of universities that didn't know how many students were coming to their university. I think you'd know an individual professor might suddenly start a project with another university, but making the universities more aware of where U21 students are exchanging, and we've much better reporting figures now. We've started to look at gender for the first time, and what we also have realised is that semester-long mobility, while it's still the most popular form of mobility, short-term mobility is coming up and is increasing massively. And we've talked about, again, how we can use U21 and maybe how we can think about, and also very recent research is showing even 2 or 3 weeks mobility is impactful and transformative for students. So again, we keep this census and we find it's important. The Student Experience Group, which is chaired by Joanne, funded U21 to do a fairly major piece of research, a mixed method, both qualitative and quantitative, on the impact of students on both study abroad, but also other campus-based activities in recognition of students who are not able to leave their home campus. So we have taken quantitative data from 3 of our universities. These are big first destinations data. And we've looked at the impact quantitatively on study abroad and co-curricular or extracurricular activity across their universities. But probably the most interesting for any of us that are very invested in students, we've collected qualitative data from 11 U21 universities, and we have some really wonderful data. And we've just finished the report. It's now gone to Joanne for final sign-off. But what students talk about, particularly about we've talked about transformative learning. And the professor from Cairo yesterday talked about Jack Meserow and what is perspective transformation. But these students are talking about what transforms them. And when we're thinking about the value of a university, of these other activities within a university, what transforms, what makes students different. And we've looked really at, and one of the things that is coming through from the qualitative data is that students do far better and feel more transformed when they go through a process, when they come after that activity, where they're helped interpret and articulate the benefits for themselves, what actually have changed them. It's not just about doing the activity and stopping it. It's where that reflection, that critical awareness of those kind of changes. And I think that's something we would be thinking about. And the employability group of U21 are at the moment building a reflective toolkit that can be used for both at-home students and study abroad students to try and enhance that reflection. And lastly, we really want to make members aware of what's happening in your university. And I would be fairly sure that if I asked any of you how many people in your university are involved in U21, you mightn't be able to tell me. So we really try to communicate as much as possible. We are very hampered by GDPR, in that we can't send things to you without your permission. So one of the things I will do after this event is I will ask you to sign up, and if you wish to receive communications from us, that we can send that to you. But particularly, who knows about different member universities, who in your university is involved in U21, who communicates in U21, and Ilva is Johannesburg's new senior leader, and I'll be talking to the senior leaders in Auckland next week of how they communicate back into the universities, and also getting feedback for us which of our activities work, which ones should we be stopping, and which ones should we be supporting. I'm going to finish with a very short video. This is what U21 did in really the calendar year 2018. We're just about to produce 2019. Look out for your university badge. Thank you again for coming here. Thank you for travelling to UJ, and thank you for being the consciencized and excellent teachers that you are.